Hello. Appreciate the opportunity and being with you all again. When I get that feeling of just like goosebumps and a rush of emotion, is that you saying, hi, I'm here?
It is your sensation of agreement.
Yeah.
In other words, that means that what you are focused upon in that moment and the vibration of it matches that which is your source.
Right. That's what it feels like. Like I've joined a big stream, the big stream, and everything's flowing freely. Yeah.
Good. It's exactly what it is.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That sensation or that feeling or that huge rush is felt by you because in that moment or in the moments that surround that, you've come from a place of not so fully realizing it to a moment of fully realizing it. So that's the rush of you locking onto the signal and letting the energy flow.
Right.
And once you're there for a while, if you were to stay on that subject, that sensation would soften, and then it would be replaced, as you know, with the sensation of clarity, interest, musing. There's something so delicious and satisfying about getting on a subject that is very interesting and pondering it from that connected state,
right,
from that broader place.
It's a lighter place.
Yes.
Right.
And sometimes the reason that we're emphasizing this a little bit, we want to tie it back into the earlier question, that we think sometimes our physical friends hold themselves unconsciously, sometimes consciously, sometimes in a place of not quite full connection because they like that rush of connecting. Mm-hmm. But there is an even more delicious thing down the road a little bit if you will just get that valve open and leave it open.
Right, because I've been holding myself in resistance so long that when I finally do open it up enough to feel that rush, it's like exhilarating. And that's what I want to partly talk about. You mentioned momentum.
Remember, there is always another platform and another rush. In other words, don't hold back, because the universe is expansive and has the ability to keep you satisfied eternally.
So another level of rush.
Another level, another level, another level,
right,
another level.
Right.
You have the ability to be incredibly expansive. So do not ever deliberately hold back. There is enough. There is no shortage. You see.
In my mind, I never want to do that. You know, sometimes just out of habit I do, but we're working on that.
Yes.
No, sometimes I get glimpses of the unlimitedness of the universe, and it's just staggering and startling to me.
Which is more satisfying? A broad, more general feeling of an unlimited universe, or a specific, in the now, personal to me, interesting thing about what I'm living here and now? The reason we're giving this to you is because this is what you're providing. You're taking all of that knowing and all of that potential, and you're funneling it into the power of your right now moment. Mm-hmm. It should feel good.
I see. Yeah. So they're both great, but I'm here to take that down to a precise,
perfect words.
In the moment point.
Perfect
right?
words.
Okay. Well, okay, then that segs very nicely to my next subject here, which is, well, first of all, I've been allowing a lot more recently, and it's been sort of paying off, and things have been accelerating a bit, and I've been feeling better more of the time, and obviously connected more of the time, and just recently a very powerful thing has started in my life. I started a part-time project with a man that I've met, and I knew from the moment I went to meet him on this past Monday, and I knew from that moment that I was going to be there, I was going to work with him, and I was just buzzing all day. I mean, I just knew that I was into something here that was good, and that was what I was wanting, And so I was hired immediately. I started on Wednesday, and I know that I feel like this is something big in my life, and so what is it? No. I'm not there for the money.
When you feel like that, what is actually happening is you are mining the nuggets that your past intentions have projected. And so from lots of past experience, you've launched lots of rockets that the universe has yielded in lots of ways, and now you are in the process of uncovering them.
Yeah.
And so it's that feeling of recognition that,
yes.
And there is much more there than you see at an initial first glance.
And I feel that.
You feel it, and that's why you're asking the question, so what is it? And we say, we would not take the fun of discovery away from you for anything.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Okay. And you're right. I mean, why would you want to do that, right? Makes a lot of sense.
Although we do enjoy exploring and discovering what's coming for you just for our own satisfaction, and do it all the time.
Yeah.
And when the idea occurs to you, you have that explosion within you that is the agreement that we've already anticipated. In other words, your broader inner being perspective is always happily anticipating, because we have the benefit of the broader view.
Right.
We know what you want. We know how much you want it. We know all of the probabilities of the unfolding of it. And when you come into conscious awareness of that, oh, do we ever have a vibrational party? And that's what you feel rippling through you.
And then the stream is moving faster, maybe, right? Yeah.
Moving faster, becoming more expanded, you get to control all of that. In other words, it won't get out of control.
This new relationship, it's with a very powerful, seemingly powerful person who, now I've been intending abundance in all things, in love and money and creativity, whatever. And he seems to embody quite a few of these things with one, and he's, very wealthy, and he's an artist, and he's a businessman, but very creatively, so, everything's creative with him.
Everything's creative with everyone.
Well, yes, I meant to seemingly a great degree, but yes, I know that. But he's also got
the reason we clarify that is because when you see someone in what you call a creative endeavor, music or art or whatever, what they have discovered in that creativity is what we're wanting you to discover. And when you realize that it's all the same, in other words, when you think about people and you use the label of very creative, what it usually means is they are passionately in love with their work, almost to the point of being single-minded about it. And it just means they've learned how to lock onto the signal of well-being relative to that subject.
I'm very glad I just evoked that from you, because that's a big thing that people, they hear artist and that's creative. And they hear accountant and that's not creative. And it's all creative.
And again, let's talk about something that we stirred up together earlier here today. The reason that the artist in music is often called the artist while the accountant isn't, or the creative one where the accountant isn't, is because when the artist or the musician or the dancer is applying his skill, he is often in a state of connection while he is doing it. Mm-hmm. The accountant is usually not in a state of connection while he is doing it.
But
if he were, he would be in the creative mode that we are talking about here.
Right. So my question for you is, how can I really make the most of this coming time and this situation? And I mean, I know that in a way it's just abundance, sort of like just popped up in my face, and I'm getting evidences of what I've been intending.
Well, first of all, it feels to us that you're saying, this feels bigger than I'm ready for, or even more than I thought I deserved. And we want to put that to rest by saying that could not possibly be. And then you say, well, then maybe it's not as big as I think it is. But we're feeling just little pieces of that. In other words, there's a little bit of overworked humility in there. And what we'd like you to do instead is say, I really am up for this. And the reason it has come is because I've wanted it and things like it all my life, and just recently I got myself more in the receiving mode. So of course something magnificent would come. The thing that's confusing you a little bit is that it didn't feel to you, and it is a big jump. It almost does not feel like the next logical step because it is so big. But it isn't the next logical step in terms of, well, I was here and then I was here and now I'm here.
Right.
But it is the next logical step in the sense that I've been wanting and not allowing, I've been wanting and not allowing, I've been wanting and not allowing, and now I'm wanting and allowing.
Right, yes. There's a lot behind it, right.
And so the things that you're wanting to say to yourself is, I've got this lined up, and I don't know exactly where it will go. And that's all right, because the universe does. And I'll guide it as ideas come to me. And I think I'll just relax and let this unfold. I've launched enough of it that it has been being guided by intentions that I've held,
right.
Most of which I still hold. In other words, you don't have a runaway horse on your hands. It is something that will be very moldable and pliable by you.
I've been having a good time.
We think what we're feeling from you, you see, this is always the way the game of creation is played, because the universe always matches you up with those who are like you. Now this is where your confusion comes in. You have been holding intentions and finding vibrational harmony with them, and you are in alignment, and the universe has yielded to you someone who's in alignment with that which you are. But the difference between where you stand and where this one stands is that this one has known this longer than you have and has more manifestations under his belt. You are judging your appropriateness in working with him as you are measuring manifestations, yours to his, while the universe is only measuring vibration, and the vibration is the same. Did you hear that? So often, as you are reaching for your next fantastic thing, there's this tendency of saying, well, here I am, and here's where I'm going, here I am, and here's where I'm going, and it seems like too much of a bridge from where I am to where I'm going. Where if you're just talking more about where you're going, then there's no bridge to make, you see. Think of this as the vibrational matching that it is. You weren't matched with this person because you have achieved identically. You are matched with this person because your potential for achieving is identical with this person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It's big. That's the part that was stuck in there.
People all of my life have told me things like, boy, you have such potential. You know, if you ever reach your potential, you'd be something. You know, I was really tired of hearing that for a long time. You know, because I'd be like, well, it didn't come, you know, or I'm still working on that, you know. And part of me said, you know, it'll come.
Well, and the other thing about that that's so uncomfortable is that most of you keep thinking that what you have reached is your potential. And what we're wanting you to hear is that there is no potential, is this ever-flowing thing, you see.
Now, at the same time, he has lung cancer. And so he's obviously been focusing on something for quite some time that is blocking his energy.
Well, this is something that we hear, and we felt it a little bit as we've been chewing with you. It's part of what makes some of you afraid of your own desires. You see sometimes people that are moving very fast, that are very powerful in the sense that they are great achievers, and it is not an uncommon thing to see them having a failing in health or relationship or something of that nature. And the reason for it, you know this, you've heard us speak this on many occasions, is because when you have had very strong, clear desires, the energy is moving very fast. And when the energy moves very fast and the part of your life that you are focused upon is a match to it, then there is thriving. But when the energy is moving very fast and there is a portion of you that is not allowing it, then there is that experience. And so
more potential for that.
But that does not have anything to do with you, and we think that part of what you will help this person to understand is that in a softening and paying attention to what he is thinking and feeling around that subject. In other words, it is possible to have thriving on 10 subjects and not thriving on one subject if it's one subject that you give quite a bit of attention to.
Right.
And in your physical environment, it is not an unusual thing that many of you would give attention to that. Now, we're going to tell you exactly what's happening with him. It will help all of you to understand more clearly. We think it will surprise you how clear and easy it is to understand this. You've heard us demonstrate this before. So wherever you stand, this is your vibrational range. Meaning that if you're focused upon something that is making you feel uncomfortable, that you cannot necessarily jump from this thought of discomfort over here to this bright, shiny thought. You don't have vibrational access to that bright, shiny thought. There's too much of a vibrational jump. Right. So here you are. Let's say you are in a place where you are feeling true rage. Let's talk about the policeman giving tickets. True rage to utter annoyance. That's your range. And as hard as you try, you cannot find a bright, happy, fluffy thought about it. So you do the best thing you can do. You reach for the best feeling thought that you can find. And while the best thought does not feel that much better than the worst thought, there is a differentiation between the worst thought and the best thought. So you reach for a thought that feels the best you can find. You focus on it for as little as 17 seconds, hold it in your vibration, and then that leading thought becomes your center range, which means the really awful thought is now out of range and a little bit better thought has just come into range. So now you do your work again. You reach for the best thought that you can find, hold it for as little as 17 seconds. It becomes your mid-range thought. Now the really awful thought is out of range, and an even better feeling thought comes into range. And with a little bit of effort, a little bit every day on the subject, you can change your vibration relative to any subject in a remarkable way.